Good afternoon, everyone. Kimberly Lebbing here. I am a MindShift mentor for women entrepreneurs, and today I'm going to talk about 5 MindShift hacks that every entrepreneur should know. So, mindset is so huge, especially if you are an entrepreneur. It can literally make or break you. So the first question I want to ask before I get to the tips is, what channel are you watching? So we all have a choice. You can watch the negative news channel, and I'm not talking literally news, or if you're paying attention to all the negative things in life and that's going on, that's a news channel for you. Or you can pay attention, or you can watch the positive news channel that is paying attention to all of the positive things in your life. So I want to set that as the groundwork, and now I'll go get into the tips. For me, I grew up in a very negative home. I was really verbally abused from a really, really small child, probably even before I was born. However, it took me working on my mind. I had to work on it even more than most people. I'm sure there's other people that have gone through some tough things, but I had to work on it a lot to be able to do what I've done in my businesses and in my life. So mindset is huge, and there's definitely things that you have to do in order to get there. So the number one thing, or number one tip that I would say, or the first one, maybe not the number one, but the first one, is avoid using resistant triggers. And what a resistant trigger is the phrases should, have to, or need to. Whenever you're using these words, I should do something, I have to do something, I need to do something, you are in a scarcity and fear mode. So work on removing those words from your vocabulary, and instead saying, I will, or I want to. See how that sounds differently? Instead of I should, say I will, or I want to. If you're not ready to, you say I want to do this instead of I need to do this or I should do this. All that does is it gets guilt going on, and then you get into a horrible cycle. Number two tip is remove negative affirmations. So in a really common one that I hear people say a lot is, I'm always late. Well, when you are saying that, you are affirming that you are always late. Your brain focuses on that, and guess what? You're going to be late probably more than you're not, because you're affirming the very thing that you don't want. So stop saying those negative affirmations. Okay, number 3 is, and this one actually goes along with number 2, and that is stop using universals. What do I mean by universals? This one you may have heard before. Always, never, nobody, everybody. When you say nobody says yes to my business, or everybody's too busy to, come do this thing with me, is it really always? Is it really everybody? Is it really nobody? Ask yourself those questions, because if the answer is no, then you're telling yourself something that's not true. But the ironic thing is your brain will believe it. So if you are saying it to yourself, always, never, all those universal words, your brain will remember it, and then it'll be like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Same thing with the one I had said earlier about I'm always late. That used a universal in there, but it's also a negative. So kind of a double whammy with that one. So that was number 3. Number 4 is don't take the past with you. So what do I mean by that? Don't take the past with you. If you are talking about, let's say I'm talking about a behavior that I currently do, but I wish that I didn't do it. Let's say it's stress eating. just for lack of, that's what popped in my head because I was talking to somebody earlier about that. Instead of saying I stress eat, instead say in the past, up until recently, I used to stress eat. What that does is it tells your brain that you want a new behavior, and then it helps you do that. So refer to things as if they are in the past, especially with things that you don't want in your life anymore. And then number 5 is ask how instead of why. When we ask why, usually that's a disempowering kind of statement or question. Why me? Why did this happen? Blah, 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 blah. You get where I'm going with that. If we ask how, it triggers your brain in a different direction so that your brain will look for solutions. So if you ask how you can do something instead of why something happened, it's a totally different result. So if these things were helpful, I'm going to give you another tool. I actually also have a tool called 10 Key Steps to Uncovering Limiting Beliefs. I work with a lot of people with limiting beliefs. This is totally free. It's a 10-step thing that you can download and go through and uncover your own limiting beliefs, because whenever we bring it to our awareness, it's a lot easier to figure it out and to break through those things that are holding us back. I hope you found value in this. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.